Cornwallis's man.
Oh, I'm not, sir.
If you were, and Cornwallis were to question you about this man here, what could you tell him?
One star. That makes him a brigadier general. You haven't referred to him by name, but there can't be too many general officers with a maimed hand. I'm sure Cornwallis could identify him even if I couldn't. And he identified himself as being on Washington's staff. Now, your disagreements could suggest a lack of unity among the staff, or maybe just between Washington's command and Lafayette's. Either one could be extorted. Oh, and the way the general keeps leafing through your papers when your back is turned. Well, that could be taken as a sign of poor communication between the two forces or poor trust. I'm pretty sure Cornwallis would be happy to hear that the Frenchman's light infantry, which is right at his front door, is in poor communication with the main army.
Anything else?
Well, yes, sir. Let's see, if I wasn't at this meeting, if I was on the outside looking in, I'd wonder why a general officer is taking such an interest in a simple imprisoned slave. It might make me think that the slave situation isn't as simple as I thought.
Huh. What's he going to do next? Guess my weight?
Well, if I had to, sir,
I'd change.
Yes, sir.
Major, I don't know what this exercise was supposed to prove, but now I trust him even less. I mean, who's to say that he's not going to turn all of this over to Cornwallis anyway? Who's to say that he's really our man?
Now you understand what it is to be a spy master. You have to entertain that even your most trusted resources are working against you. Out of everything that you're told, you have to confirm as much as you can, and what you can't, you use your best judgment. For even if he's being honest with us, perhaps his resources aren't being honest with him.
But I don't see how it's worth it, Major. If we're going to spend that much time and effort on it anyway, then why are we burning resources on this? Which brings me to an interesting question, Major. What has this man been promised? The Marquis has a history of being very liberal in his pledges, which you would not deny, sir.
Of course, sir, but he has been liberal in pledging monies from his own sources. He has never been prodigal with the resources of the army or the Congress.
I am not talking about money, James. I need to know if this man has been promised something that the Marquis does not have the authority to grant. Did he promise Armistead his freedom?
That's not what I'm doing this for, sir.
Oh, well, now I know I don't believe him. Here we have the only slave in Virginia, the only slave in America who doesn't want his freedom.
If doing this gets me my freedom, I won't refuse it. But no one ever promised it to me.
How can you trust this man, Major, if you don't even know what he really wants?
Begging your pardon, sir. Yes, sir, I am a slave. Legal property of William Armstead of Elizabeth City, and yes, I want my freedom. But we're not so single-minded about that as you may think. If we were, every last one of us would have gone off and joined the British the first time they offered it. I can only speak for me. But freedom is just one on a list of things I want. My family all together, some land, I want a farm. But a lot of people want a lot of things that they know they ain't never gonna get. It doesn't stop them from living their lives. You got thousands of soldiers here. And some of them are poor Virginia farmers. And for a lot of them, it's a struggle just to keep the farmer growing concern. They were struggling when this was a colony. They're still struggling now that we're a Commonwealth, and whichever way this war goes, they're still going to be struggling. But do you ask him why he's fighting? The gentleman. The gentleman talk of politics and philosophy. And maybe the farmer's concerned with that. Maybe. But the thing you can be certain of is that he is defending his home. The land he lives on. Where he's always lived. Where he was born. And where he's surrounded by everything he has ever known. He is serving his country in the way he was called on to do. So why should I be any different? Am I any less a Virginian Because I'm a slave? Does living in bondage mean I can't believe in something? This is my country, sir. Yes, I may have worked this land for another man, but I still know the soil. I have it in my veins. And I will defend it. So don't ask me what I want, General. I'm no different than any man in that army. But I wasn't asked to serve Virginia as a soldier. I was asked to serve her as a spy. And if that's what I can do, sir, then let me do it. Because this is my home.
Sir, this has gone on beyond what I had scheduled, and we both have more work to do.
Of course.
I'll call for you again tonight, James, and we'll finish these discussions. I'll also have your disinformation to give Cornwallis.
Yes, sir.
When Lafayette conducts this interview, this is normally where I go and get the guard to take charge of him. I'm going to go and get the guard to take charge of him.
Now, I've no particular quarrel with you, young man. It's this ridiculous game. I'm not going to pretend to have any love or patience for spies and codes. All of this business. I know that Washington's been relying on it, using Major Talmadge up in New York, for example. But perhaps I shouldn't have told you that. But I'm an artillery officer. So my notion of combat is a direct one. Velocities, trajectories, precise, calculable formula. This is not how wars are fought, or won. You compare yourself to our soldiers, but I'm not sure that's accurate. Our soldiers rely on each other. They have to. They're in a position of trust. A trust that is forged by the shared presence of repeated danger. But you, by which I mean any spy, you work alone, eschewing the assistance of your brothers. Your work is in lies, in secrets, in distrust, a celebration of all the worst of humanity. And I do not believe that our nation should profit from such acts.
Sir, the men are just outside.
Very well. Going to remove him to the guardhouse then?
Of course, sir.
Well, no matter my feelings on the subject, this man is performing a service for the Army. Can't we find him some better accommodations?
I would have to advise against it, sir.
What's this?
Sir, Cornwallis believes Armistead is his spy, but we can't afford to believe he's his only spy. How's it going to look when suddenly this suspected spy is given a private room at the Raleigh Tavern?
Of course, I misspoke. Obviously, we cannot jeopardize our operation.
Not only that, sir, but Armistead's life.
What?
Sir, you served on Major Andre's court-martial. You understand the situation that James is in.
General Lafayette told me that about that before I even started. He said that Major Andre was respected, one of the most respected English officers, and respected by both sides. But that couldn't save him when he was declared a spy.
And Andre hanged.
Yes, sir. So as much as those soldiers hate me, please, sir, don't tell them what I'm doing. They'll likely kill me.
Everything's set, James. Tonight, when I give you your report, I'll give you the key to your manacles. Tonight, there'll be some sort of distraction, I haven't decided what yet, that will call their guards away from their posts. They will be delayed just long enough for you to have a successful head start. But they will be behind you.
I see your plan, Major. Have a detachment of men who know what's going on here to put up a show of pursuit.
You misunderstand, sir. Those men will not be told. As far as they know, James is an English spy making his way back to Cornwallis with a head full of facts.
But hold, Major. Those men would kill this man to stop him.
I have to be fast. So you said something earlier about the repeated presence of danger. I don't know anything about that. My danger is constant, and it comes from both sides.
You know this. You are perfectly aware of this. And yet you willingly put yourself into this situation. Why on earth would you do that?
That's how I was asked to serve my home.
Corporal Francis.
I had underestimated what this man was doing.
It can be sobering. We speak in our staff meetings of intelligence just like another supply, but one we cannot organize any kind of action without. And it is men like that that collect most of it. The spy, the unknown, the unobserved.
A man hated by every soldier whose well-being he helps ensure.